Welcome to the Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast. I'm glad you joined me today for this special episode. We're going to be talking about something that I think you as real estate investors really need.
Welcome to the Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast with Scott Whitwam, your blueprint to financial abundance. Settle in as we explore the mindset and methods for wealth building through real estate.
Are you ready to accelerate your real estate investing? If so, I invite you to Thrive 2025 Mini Real Estate and Conference. This is Scott Whitwam, real estate investor and coach. This one-day event is being held in Gilbert, Arizona on Saturday, May 17th. And I'll be joined by three top investors, entrepreneurs, and coaches, Brian and Gina Kandeski, along with Ryan Zollin. Brian has flipped thousands of homes and has agreed to share his proven success routine at this event. Gina is at the forefront of the rise of the co-living space and absolutely crushing it, and will show you how to leverage this real estate investment strategy. Ryan has mastered the art of turning real estate investors into agent investors. His proven system leverages the MLS to achieve your investing goals using an innovative step-by-step blueprint. And I'll share from my 30 years of experience of purchasing real estate investment properties with no money down and how to identify the missing opportunities to leverage other people's money. Lunch will be provided. Go to thrive2025rei.com or scan the QR code and a plan to attend the Thrive 2025 REI Mini Conference. Welcome back. I'm Scott Whitwam, and today we're actually going to be talking about sports. I know this is a real estate investor podcast, but this sports is aimed at your children, your nieces, your nephews, all of those that you know in your immediate area, because after last week's podcast, I talked to Chris Pawlowski about his other business, Champion Cards, and I asked him to do another episode with me about his Champion Card business. So, Chris, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm glad you agreed to hang out with me a little bit longer and do this next podcast about Champion Cards. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what Champion Cards is?
Well, Champion Cards is a custom card company, but unlike the professional sports cards where you're trading Aaron Rodgers or Michael Jordan card or Aaron Judge, this is designed around your nieces and nephews and family members that are playing sports now, not in college, not in the pros, but your Little League player, your up-and-coming athlete. Because the reason why we started the company, Andre, one of my best friends, we started this company a couple of years ago. And what we saw is there weren't any really good trading cards to really give that young athlete that bump, that, oh my gosh, look, I made it to a card, that sense of accomplishment. And then the same thing for the parents to be able to show things other than just, here's something on your phone.
Right.
Because what we realize is you take a lot of pictures of your kids playing sports, but how many times do you really actually go back to that phone and look at it?
Right.
Sometimes it's on vacation or at a wedding, but you really don't keep that in front of you. And a lot of times your children are your why. and being able to build them up and building that sense of accomplishment and that self-esteem, these cards can actually do that. And the reason why we started making these cards is because when you look at the statistics, after high school, only 2% of athletes ever go on to play a Division I, Division II, or Division III
right,
sports.
to play in higher level sports.
Right.
So now all they got is just the memories.
They just have the memories.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned that because actually on my computer, I have a folder that's called Photos. Mm-hmm. And I've got at least 25 years of digital photos
Yes.
Of all kinds of things, events and all of that. Mm-hmm. And so we all have those photos, but how often do I go through that? There's probably 10,000 photos, maybe more.
Exactly.
In that photo bin.
Right.
And some of them are incredible moments and times that our kids, our nieces, our nephews, best friends, kids have experienced.
Yeah.
But you provide an opportunity to memorialize those big events so that they become something of value over time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have those pictures like you just talked about, and you've got hundreds of pictures sometimes, but usually you have that memory of that game that you played, that you stole the basketball and you went down to make the winning shot, or you hit that home run or that softball home run and you're coming home and your team is celebrating, Or even if it's a sport like robotic competitions where you're building those robots to compete against each other. BattleBots, absolutely. Yeah. So, but what do you do with those pictures when great, they're on your screen, but being able to transfer them and say, well, I wouldn't know how to make them into a card. And typically in the past, you got these like flimsy cards that are, the Donruss, but they're just flimsy. They don't last, and they don't look like real cards. And now you got cards like Prism and Panini that are really high quality cards.
The high end ones,
Yeah, with Champion Cards, what you can do is you can actually take that picture from your computer, from your phone. You can upload it directly to our website at championcards.com. It'll walk you through the process where you can actually center and frame the picture however you like it. And then on the back, and this is where one of the differentiating factors is what is the event or the memory that you're trying to capture?
Right.
Because just like, you remember something that you did 2 months ago, you might remember a little bit of the details. But think about that 10 years down the road or 20 years down, or when you're grown up and you're showing your children that you used to play sports and like, Dad, you didn't play. And like, well, yeah, here's a card. Now you can actually show them a memory piece, and it captures. This wasn't just me coming across the home plate with my team cheering.
Right.
This was actually the home run in the regional tournament when we were down by 2 runs and I was down 0-2 and I hit that home run.
Right.
That's what you capture, and you can capture that on the back of the card. So really easily, takes a couple minutes. You can upload that picture. We're then going to capture all that information. We're going to create 9 different cards for you. I mean, you can buy cards for as little as $10 for 3 cards.
Wow.
So $10, or you can get 6 cards for $20. Our main most popular package is you get 9 cards. 8 of them are in soft sleeves, and then one of them comes in a crystal clear acrylic case with a stand and a 5x7 picture. And we added the 5x7 picture because a lot of times, your mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, maybe their eyesight isn't as good to see a card as small as this. And they like to have bragging rights to all their other friends. Look at my grandkids and things like that. As a father, you have those pictures on your phone or your computer. But if you have that card sitting right in front of you, just another way to remind you,
go on top of the piano,
go on top of the piano,
on top of the mantle,
absolutely,
those type of things,
absolutely, and they're high quality cards. I mean, everyone that we've talked to and shown, over the years, say, gosh, these are just super high quality cards. We produce them ourselves. We ship them out to you, and now we've started where we actually can help fundraise for some of those little league sports, the club teams.
So a club team, a sports team, even probably a high school or school team could probably come to you and say, hey, look, we want to do a fundraiser, and we'd like all the kids to be able to get this, but we want to sell these packages so that we can raise some money for maybe they want to go to a tournament
or equipment
or
upgraded field.
Trust me, I coached at schools. Or fundraising for equipment was a constant thing that we were looking to do.
And a lot of times when you think fundraising as a sports organization, you think the candy bars, you think the coupons, where you click it, for when you go to Dunkin' Donuts. And a lot of times what we've heard is, I'll donate the money, but I really don't use the coupon part.
Right.
And then you've got the other side as the organization that you've got to track it. You've got to see how many were ordered, what's the percentage, everything from that standpoint. And you usually do it one time.
Right.
With Champion Cards, what we can do is we can assign a specific QR code to your organization, and then we'll track it for you throughout the month, every single month. So when someone goes to the website through your QR code, we'll donate 25% of the total order back to the organization. So at the end of the month, we can run a report through our system.
Wow.
And the next month, by the end of the next month, we're going to get a check for you. And you can keep that fundraiser going. And that's just one way. Another way that we can do it that we've been approached by is the teams at the end of the year want to do something special for the kids.
Right.
Because unlike the old days when you and I were playing, you usually don't have that team photo anymore. It's really odd. But you have all those players and you capture those moments throughout the season. We can actually do a set, 15 players on the team. We can do 15 sets. So at that final banquet at the end of the year, you've got a really cool memory piece that you can show yourself and share all your teammates.
Right.
And it just creates a really lasting impression for you.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So, and in this digital age, it's probably easy to get you the photos because they can probably all be uploaded, and you can do this
absolutely
from anywhere in the U.S.
Yep.
So now the next question is, let's just say I go to Champion Cards, I click, hey, I want to do this.
Yep.
How long does it take from the start of the process until the time the product is ready to ship?
Just because we print them in house. Typically, you're going to get them 5 to 7 days from that standpoint.
Oh, that's pretty quick.
Pretty quick for them, because we want to make sure that we go through a really good quality control, make sure that the cards are square, there's not any bleed over. We want a high quality card, and then run them through the process and lamination process and the layers of the substrates. But yeah, you typically 5 to 7 days. If you've got large orders for teams where you're doing a banquet,
25 kids or 50
25
kids, whole football team.
Yeah, whole football team. It's going to take a little bit longer, but usually in that case, you've got that event coming up. We can pre-plan for it from that standpoint and make it really easy.
So I remember when I was a kid, we used to save our nickels and pennies. Those were big dollars back when you were a kid in my era, know, and you'd go down to the local little convenience store and you'd buy the packet of Tops or Don,
that dry
gum. But that was all, man. We get the gum out of it. Then you got the baseball cards and you would trade and all of that, and it had all their stats on the back of it. So for instance, I'm assuming that, let's just say I'm a senior in high school and ready to graduate, and then you can put your stats from all 4 years on there, and so you can have your your freshman year, your JV, and your varsity.
Yeah, we can put stats on the back. It doesn't have to be just capturing that memory, and that's the great thing. We have the flexibility where for a team, if they want it with the stats, that's great. We can make a card with the stats. Like I said, it's just with this day and age, we can adjust things in our website. And another thing that's really cool when you talk about the senior nights, we actually have like a large crystal acrylic case where you actually have 2 stands with the picture of the player, front and back, or the team picture and the player with the logo and the team, record for that year. And it's a really cool standalone piece, that you can use, and it's something that you can be proud of and show off, for years to come.
All right, so real estate investors, here's the reason why I wanted Chris on, because most of us have either nieces or nephews, or we have kids of our own. We have grandkids when you start to get to my age and stuff. This is an incredible opportunity to take some of those profits we've been making in real estate and build lasting memories. What an incredible birthday gift! What an incredible Christmas present! What an incredible graduation gift! Fact is, my wife and I, our granddaughter, just started into archery.
There you go.
Did her first archery match, and in her age class, she got second place. And so she's got a big event coming up in July. And so I told her, I said, what we need to get, my son and daughter-in-law to get us the pictures from the last archery event. We're going to get some stuff from this next one, and we're going to do, the champion card. And I said, and you need to get my one of my granddaughters is a dancer. She's what now, 8 years old, but she's been in dance for. I said we need to get a picture with her in one of her dance outfits, and when it's her birthday, whatever the event is, and this will be kind of that lasting memory thing to do. And so I wanted to, because not everything we do is just about buying real estate. We're still living lives. We're still real people, and what a blessing you could be to somebody else. In one of these opportunities, to bless your nieces and your nephews. You'd be the greatest uncle and aunt in the world for being able to do something like this for their kids.
I mean, you can show, when you present the child with that card and say, look, we got some cards, their faces just light up. And on the flip side, come the holidays, being able to give your parents something of their grandkids that's really just special and unique. And you talked about archery. We've got a lot of different categories and templates on our website now, but we're always adding templates. So if there's something that you see when you go to championcars.com and you're not sure, you can always just send us an email at info@championcars.com and say, hey, I didn't see a template. Is there something? Can you do something for archery? We could certainly add that in.
Right. And so it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to just be baseball and football cards, basketball cards. You guys do everything. You could do any of the events, and then if you don't have it, you can figure something out.
Yeah, absolutely.
For it.
Like I said, with the robotics, with the battling bots, I mean, there's something called the 18x18 organization that's here in Arizona that does the competitions, and they are actually approached us, or hopefully this year we can get something for them where every team that has 10 players has their specific robot with specific specs. And it's just different than a regular trading card. But, you can show the actual battle bot on there.
Right.
And it's just a really cool way to capture that. So it doesn't have to be an athlete. Anything that's competitive or a special event.
And I'm thinking, back for over all the years of the things, just in my life, just in my life, of events. When we won in sixth grade, when we won the championship in baseball, when I won grand champion at county fair, and all those kind of events could be memorialized
Absolutely
through something like this. I still got baseball cards around here. We got binders of them, of baseball cards from people that I don't even know. I know them from being ball players,
right,
but I don't even know them. But how cool would it be to have cards of your nieces, your nephews, your kids, your grandkids in those same binders and go, man, you got to see, look at my card collection.
Right.
Look at these champions.
Yeah, it's everyone's got a champion moment. You don't have to go to college to be a champion and have those champion moments, and those moments last, and they just make an impression on you as a child, as an athlete, and the pictures that you capture. Sometimes it might not be the home run or that. It might be after the game when you got your arm around your buddy that you played and you both are dirty and sweaty and you're showing your championship ring and like, yeah, those are the type of moments that you want to capture as well too.
So what was just let me kind of wind this down a little bit.
Yeah.
So what was the impetus? What was the thing that just said, hey, this is something we have got to do? I think it's a great idea. I think it's going to bring a lot of joy to a lot of people, to a lot of kids. But what was really the impetus that said, hey, this is something that we've got to do and move forward with this idea?
Well, when Andre and I were talking a couple of years ago, his kids are very involved in sports as well too. In fact, this is his son, Omari on the front, the first official champion cards, ambassador. But they got into collecting cards as well too. And he was like, "Wow, Dad, maybe someday I can be on a card like this. I keep working." And that kind of started the thought process.
Idea.
So we came up and we played around with making a card that's high quality, that isn't just that Polaroid paper. And we showed him one. And he's like, "Yeah, that's cool." Then we showed him, what if it could be on a Panini or Prism quality card? So we made some and we tested it with him, his friends on his team, a couple of other like soccer teams, softball teams. And we just asked him, same thing with the high school students. We showed them the card and said, hey, is this something in this day and age with all the social media and things like, would this be cool if you could really capture those moments and have overwhelmingly every time the younger kids go, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm just like Aaron Judge. I'm just like Michael Jordan. I'm just, And the high school students, it's a cool way for them to capture that. But then also they can use it as a recruiting, tool as well too, to show cards when they're at in-person, interviews with schools and things like that. So it's just, we've always got overwhelming response. And we wanted to make an easy way to do it because then it turned into, how do you get those pictures into the card? And we got to make it as easy as possible.
As easy as possible.
And that's when you go to the website, you literally land on the website. It says, click here to create your card, pick your template, what's the information, and off you go.
Well, I think it's such a great idea. That's why I wanted to have you back. I want to thank everybody for joining us on this episode. I know it's been a little bit different, but I encourage you to go out to Champion Cards. The information is on the screen. You can find it in the info for this podcast, and connect with Champion Cards. It's championcards.com, and get something like this for your kids, your grandkids. It'll change their life. They'll be so excited about it. And I want to invite you to subscribe today and be part of our growing community. Be sure to check out our growing list of previous episodes about real estate investing. You can always find the Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart Podcast, or YouTube. You know what? Or even wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. This is Scott Whitwam. Be sure to join me on the next episode of the Whitwam Wealth Real Estate Podcast, where we're wealth building through real estate. Are you ready to accelerate your real estate investing? If so, I invite you to Thrive 2025 Mini Real Estate and Conference. This is Scott Whitwam, real estate investor and coach. This one-day event is being held in Gilbert, Arizona on Saturday, May 17th. And I'll be joined by 3 top investors, entrepreneurs, and coaches, Brian and Gina Kandeski, along with Ryan Zollin. Brian has flipped thousands of homes and has agreed to share his proven success routine at this event. Gina is at the forefront of the rise of the co-living space and absolutely crushing it, and will show you how to leverage this real estate investment strategy. Ryan has mastered the art of turning real estate investors into agent investors. His proven system leverages the MLS to achieve your investing goals using an innovative step-by-step blueprint. And I'll share from my 30 years of experience of purchasing real estate investment properties with no money down, and how to identify the missing opportunities to leverage other people's money. Lunch will be provided. Go to thrive2025rei.com or scan the QR code in a plan to attend the Thrive 2025 REI mini conference.